Now we come to the abstract data type. This one is a bit more complex. So what is the abstract data type, or the ADT? Well, let's start with what is abstract. So if we look this up, it says relating to or involving general ideas or qualities, okay, rather than specific people, objects, or actions. We're separating out the general from the specific. See that? All right, we're going to talk a lot about abstract. So what is an abstract data type? It's a container. It has properties, which are data and functionality. Okay. Don't get stuck on that word properties thinking that it has a specific language construct to it. It's not. It's just meaning that both data and functionality are represented within the data type. And those properties are independent from the implementation. That's the abstract part of it. The implementation is the specific part. And we'll get to why in just a bit. We also view this type from the applications or the user's perspective. Okay. So it's not from the computer's memory needs or from circuit needs. Rather, it's from the application or the user's perspective. And we model to abstract away complexity. This is called abstraction. Oh, that's one of those words. If you're in software, you need to know the word abstraction, to abstract things away. Okay, let's just stick that word away for now. We're going to talk more and more about abstraction, but I just kind of wanted to point it out. It's going to come down to what you see up here, that the software itself is independent from the implementation. If you just know that right there, independent from implementation, you'll start to see why as I give you these ways of seeing what we're talking about. Let's start with a to-do list. Let's imagine a to-do list. What might be on your list? Let's say we have 3 things on the list. Well, you need to watch CS 110, lesson number 2. Well, you're doing that right now. I need to call my client. I need to go to the grocery store. All right, like I said, I'm doing the first one right now, so I can scratch that off my list. I might leave it on my list. That way I know that I completed it, right? Or I might remove it, delete it, but I've marked it now, and my other 2 remain there. So let's talk about list. Lists are one of the abstract data types. Okay, so what's a list? Well, I just gave you a visual. You know what lists are. You use them every day. You have your honeydew list, your to-do list, your client list. They are designed specifically for the needs of a list. Now notice what I just said. It's modeling from your perspective, not from the software's perspective. Your perspective of a byte is not the same thing as what the computer needs, right? Or a string. We don't talk in strings. We talk in words, sentences, language. Well, here we're dealing with lists. We deal with lists all the time. When you go to the store, your spouse gives you a list. Go get these items. You know what lists are. That's what I'm talking about when I say from the perspective of the user or application. So the data and functionality are intermixed, and they're used to track the list. Okay, that's what makes it unique. Data and functionality, both within the data type. Think about a primitive. It doesn't have data and functionality. Think about an array. It's just holding data. It doesn't have all of this functionality too. All right, so let's take a look at this. Data is there. Well, that's one of them. You'll be able to see by looking at the is there, if a specific item on the list is there, right? How about some functionality? We could do things like GetLength, reset, GetNext, delete, insert, and so on. All right, let's take another one. What do you see here? You see people standing in a line at an ATM. Notice that there is an order to this line. This is a queue. It's actually specifically a first in, first out queue, right? Think about what that means, first in, first out. I'm not going to teach you specifically about how to use queues right now. That's a more advanced topic. Instead, I'm just going to say that if this gentleman is first in the line, then he goes up, he gets his money out of the ATM, and then he leaves. He's first in, first out. Same with the next guy, moves up in the line, gets his money, makes his deposit, whatever he's going to do at the ATM, and then he leaves. First in, first out. So what is another abstract data type? It's the object data type. All right, so what's an object? All right, this is where confusion comes in. What is an object? It's part of object-oriented programming. So let's start with this. Let's say we have a blueprint, and this is a blueprint to build a home, okay? And let's say if someone's going to make a blueprint, unless it's a custom design, they're going to use this blueprint over and over again. So you build your house, and this is your house. From the outside, it looks just the same as Ben's house. Ben might be right next door to you. He could be in the other town. What's important here as you look at this is these are both implementations of this blueprint. But are they the same house? Is Ben's house the same as your house? I mean, so if someone sends you mail, does it go to Ben's house? When you walk in the door, your front door, are you walking into Ben's house? Is he walking into yours? No. They are instances of the blueprint. So when the architect came up with this blueprint, then the builder took the blueprint and he built this object, your house. Then he took that same blueprint and he went and built a different house, Ben's house. They are separate objects. You might have blue carpeting in your house. Ben might have hardwood floors. You might have granite on your countertops. Ben might have Formica. Your house might have a leather sofa in it. Ben's house might even have a sofa. He might just have chairs. Maybe they're just beanbag chairs. The point is, these are two separate objects. They're not the same. Just like if you had an ink pen in your hand, there's a blueprint that made that ink pen. But if you have another pen sitting on your desk, maybe it's the same type of pen, right? It might even be a different color. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's the exact same pen, but they're not the exact same pen, are they? They're two separate ones. You can hold them in your hand. From the user's perspective, they are objects. They were built from one blueprint. So therefore, the blueprint in software would be a class. Class defines the functionality of the object. It also defines the attributes, the data for this object. In this case, let's be very specific. Let's talk about this house. So the architect has this designed up, and if you wrote software for this to describe this house, you would say things like, the door opens and this happens. You turn on the fireplace, if you have a gas fireplace, or you put wood in it, and this happens. There's functionality to it. You could say that there is a floor type, and that's the type of attribute information, data information. Then that can be different types of floors, right? There could be different types of fireplaces. Maybe one has a fireplace, maybe one doesn't. Maybe one has a garage and another one does not. Maybe one has one bedroom and the other one has three. Maybe one has a finished basement and another one does not. All of those are different attributes. So therefore, when you got your house built, which if we look at that in software, so we then created an instance of this blueprint, which is now your house. And we could address it as your house, right? Then it's different than this instance, even though they were built off of the same blueprint, the same class and software. Does that make sense to you? You're going to learn a lot about OOP and objects. Just wanted to give you just a quick intro because we're talking about data types. And knowing that functionality and data or attributes are married into the same data type, that's what makes the abstract data type so important. So what are the takeaways? The abstract data type, the ADT, it's a container whose properties or characteristics or attributes, if you like to call them that, and functionality is separate from its implementation. It's abstract. That's what makes it abstract. Take a little time. Make sure you understand that. We are going to talk about abstraction later on.